Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about why communication is an underrated skill for programmers. So if you want to know more about how you can become a coder this year with a mentor's help, check out www.doorscodingschool.com. That's www.doorscodingschool.com. So I was watching a video one of these days from one of my favorite programmers on YouTube, and he hires a lot of developers, freelance developers on Upwork. And he got asked, how can you compete with outsourced labor from countries that charge not a lot of money? Like, let's say you're a programmer, you're competing with people in India, in Bangladesh, in Pakistan, that because of the cost of living over there, they can survive and charge less money. So how can you compete with them? One of the things he said, and that was a little bit counterintuitive, is that he usually didn't hire the one that listed the skill he was looking for. He hired people who communicated that they could solve his problem well. So you have to put yourself in the shoes of an entrepreneur, of someone who is hiring other people. People hire other people to solve problems. That's it. It's not to do charity. It's not to help people. It's because he has a problem in his business that needs to get solved. If you hire someone and they have all the technical skills, they are super smart, but they can't understand which problem you want them to solve, and they can't communicate with you well, because there is always some ambiguity in a problem. You might need to go back and forth, you might need to ask clarification questions. So if the person works and has the skills, but he works on the wrong thing, or he can't communicate well, you're gonna have a lot of trouble, because he might solve a problem that's not the problem you're trying to solve. It's another problem. And to really have a good working relationship, you need communication skills. So you need to be able to express yourself well in English if you're working in English or in your native language. You need to be able to write well. You need to be able to ask clarification questions, be concise. And that's something that is really underrated. As programmers, we're always looking to learn new frameworks, new programming languages, get really proficient technically. But I'd argue that the return on investment of you investing in maybe something like Toastmasters, which is a club that helps you public speak, or maybe take writing classes, read more about how to write well, maybe create a YouTube channel where you put yourself out there and you get feedback on how well you speak. Those are actions, habits that over the long term probably will give you more back than just focusing on the technical skills, because ultimately in our world, very few things get done when you try to do things by yourself. You need to collaborate with other people. And as an engineer, as a programmer, I know this sounds like some fluffy things that don't really matter, but that's not true. The reality is communication is a very important skill. I think communication by itself nowadays might not be super useful, but communication plus technical skills, that's something that really makes you stand out, because not everyone can have technical skills plus be able to communicate their thoughts and express themselves eloquently. So instead of just focusing on learning how to code, if you feel like you need to work on your English, if you're, let's say you're from a country that, like I'm from Brazil, English is not my native language. I should always be learning more about English, reading magazines. I recommend The Economist, it's a great magazine. Watching movies without subtitles, always checking the dictionary, but also posting content in English, writing blogs, those things pay off a lot over the long term. It's not something that will get your money back right away, but over the long term, that will have a huge return on investment. So my recommendation for you guys today is work on your programming skills, but also set aside some hours during your week to work on your communication skills. So if you wanna know more about how to become a coder this year, check www.doorscodingschool.com, and I'll see you next week.